So, Elementary OS 5.1 Hera has finally arrived after. When did they first mention they were working on it? A couple months ago? 1 month ago? The October updates? I don't really remember. But it just finally arrived, and there are a whole host of changes. Now, the first thing you will notice, this is not my test machine. This is my main machine. This is the computer that I have been running Elementary on for the better part of a year now, very happily so. And I did just get done recording a sort of an overview of it on my test machine. Ran into some issues, which I am going to talk about here. So, notable changes for Elementary OS 5.1. I can't really show the greeter since this is my main machine, but there is the new greeter. I think I did previously show that in a video as well. I'm sure there's plenty of images you can find about it. The new greeter has a new card-based look. Looks pretty good. Could fill the space a bit better, but it's the first version of it. They're iterating on it. They will iterate on it. There have also been changes to the date and time indicator, as well as, I'm already in the settings, the mouse and touchpad settings now have the different categories in the sidebar rather than a tabbed view. Looks pretty good to me. So you got clicking options, pointing options, and then device-specific options. That's all well and good. There were also some Bluetooth updates, but I don't really use Bluetooth, so I can't really comment on those. Now, issues that I mentioned. So, probably the most, we'll say the headline feature of Elementary OS 5.1, aside from now being based on the latest point release of Ubuntu 18.04, featuring the hardware enablement stack and the 5.0 kernel, that's all well and good too. Probably the flagship headlining feature of this release is Flatpak support in App Center. So, I mentioned I ran into issues on the test machine when I was doing that overview. On a fresh installation of the ISO, there were no updates to install or anything, so everything theoretically should have been set up out of the box. Let's just, for example, let me open... let's not do Ephemeral, let's just open Epiphany real quick. And just to kind of demonstrate the argument, because one thing alongside the Flatpak support and App Center update is they added a new sideload app. So let's install something real quick that I don't have installed. Do I have Kdenlive installed? I actually don't know if I have Kdenlive installed. I do not. Let's do Kdenlive. Install. So that opens, or that downloads it. You can click to open. Note that this is the Flatpak tech preview of Epiphany. This is not the version that you have installed by default. Let's open that with sideload real quick. And when you go to install a Flatpak ref with sideload, you will be greeted with this dialog that says install untrusted app. A lot of people don't like the wording of that. All this is a disclaimer. It is just telling you that the Elementary team cannot review the app that you are about to install. If you trust it, that's fine. It's just warning you that they cannot verify that it's trustworthy. If you know what the app is and you trust it, don't worry about it. This is just a disclaimer. Anyway, install Kdenlive. And there you go. So that's what sideload looks like. We'll just go ahead and open that real quick to verify that everything is working. And here we have Kdenlive. So I mentioned running into some issues. Now, so on the test machine, again, that was a fresh installation with the new ISO. Everything should have been up to date out of the box. So Flatpak would have, of course, already been included and installed. Everything should have been set up right. I went to install LibreOffice for the demonstration, and after LibreOffice finished, I, of course, opened up App Center to then show that it would have been listed. It was not yet listed. So I then also looked in the Applications menu after doing so as well. Okay. It also was not in the Applications menu at the time. It is not Kdenlive, in this case, it is in the Applications menu. Not in the application list in App Center. So there are some issues with the Flatpak support. Let's be completely honest. There are some issues with the Flatpak support. From what I could see on the GitHub page, most of this stuff is known issues. I'm not entirely sure if the whole it doesn't show up right away in App Center is. Like, it kind of is, it kind of isn't. I might need to double check that. I will probably forget to double check that. Sorry, Cassidy. I'm probably going to forget to double check that, but most of the issues that I have run into are known issues. So keep in mind, if you install it fresh, you may also run into that. So to clarify things, if you go to FlatHub to install a Flatpak ref through sideload, what is supposed to happen is, well, it should install just fine. You should see it in the applications menu. It should show up in App Center, and other apps from FlatHub should be searchable in App Center. When I was first testing these changes on my laptop, it worked just fine. My main computer here did not right away. The test machine with that fresh installation did not work like that right away. That being said, oh, and I was also not able to search for other apps from FlatHub through App Center after adding a Flatpak from FlatHub with sideload. So that being said, it is very easy to fix that by just restarting your computer. We shouldn't have to do that, but it is easy to work around. Again, from what I've seen, these kinds of things are known issues. So I do want to be honest with you guys. So just to let you know, you may run into that. If you restart your computer, then FlatHub apps will be searchable in App Center just fine. Another known issue at this time is that when you go to browse for Flatpaks, they don't show up when you're just browsing the categories. That is also a known issue. So just keep these things in mind. It is still the initial support for Flatpak. There will be issues. They are aware of these. Things should be ironed out over time. So just keep that in mind. The Flatpak support is not perfect yet, but it is still supported, and for the most part, it does work pretty well. Just not perfect yet. And that all being said, I am going to leave a link to the Elementary blog post about the new update down in the description below if you'd like to read through that to get more detailed information about all these changes. And, you know, of course, if you follow me on Twitter especially, you know that I'm a huge fan of Elementary. If you're coming to this video from my Elementary OS Best for Linux Newcomers video, you definitely know that I'm a fan of Elementary. And, you know, in that video, I was very positive about it and looked at the positive side of, like, everything with it because, you know, the point of that video was this is why I think Elementary is the best Linux distribution for new Linux users. That is specifically what the point of that video was. It was not meant to be an in-depth, here's the pros and cons of it. It was why I think it's the best for Linux newcomers, which I thought I was very clear about, but let me just reiterate that. I think it is the best for newcomers to Linux. I in no way think that it is the best for everybody. It is not perfect. There are plenty of things about it that some people may not like everybody complains about there not being a minimize button. Still. And there are other things, I guess, that people who consider themselves power users may not like, although they never elaborate on what those issues specifically are. You know, so it's not for everybody. Let me be clear about that. It is not for everybody. I don't think it is for everybody. I think it's a great starting point, and I think for a lot of people it is a very good choice. Nothing's perfect for everybody. Nothing is perfect for everybody. It is still, right now, my favorite Linux distribution. I think it is the best looking Linux distribution with the most well-designed UI. Yes, I've seen Deepin. I think Elementary looks better. And I think that Elementary provides the most cohesive user experience. GNOME is also very good. GNOME has had, especially with 3.32 with a new Adwaita look, that does look really good. I still think Elementary looks better. That is just my opinion, though. And that's the great thing about the whole wide Linux community. You have a lot of options. If you don't like Elementary, you can choose something else. If you overall otherwise do like Elementary, but you don't like a few little things about it, you can probably tweak it because it's Linux and it's open source and Elementary tweaks exists. So you can adjust things. I feel like my point got derailed somewhere, but that happens a lot. So that's gonna be it for this quick-ish look at Elementary 5.1. Overall, it is a much welcome release. It's great to have an updated ISO. Makes it a lot easier for people who are just wanting to start using Elementary, because they don't need to start with a year-plus old ISO. We have a fresh new one to work with. One thing I would like to see them do, since they've also like been automating their build process and release stuff, one thing I'd like to see them do is to more regularly refresh the ISO, even if it's not like a new point release, just to make it easier for new people to, you know, get started using it and not have to update from like a very old ISO. So yeah, sometime in the future here, I'm also going to be doing a video about other things I would like to see improved with Elementary OS to, I guess, balance out the overly positive Best for Linux Newcomers video I did. So yeah, we'll see how that goes when that happens. Till next time, this has been Axel. Thank you guys for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can do so via the support link in the description below. If you would like to try Elementary OS, it is pay what you want on their website. That is at a floor of 0. You can try it. You can pay for it if you'd like to. And if you do end up using it and like it, I do encourage you to consider paying for it to support their work and to support what they do. That goes for the third-party apps and App Center as well. Anyway, I think I've rambled long enough, but there is always more rambling to be had in future videos. I'll see you guys in the next one.